All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, Gervonta Tank Davis and Jaron Ennis are accused of being thieves who are stealing from black fight fans with these terrible fights that they get put up to make them look as if they are these great fighters, when reality, all they are is protected. Or at least that is what the usual suspects are saying about the two of these fighters. Let's analyze that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, I had a really good time this weekend watching Jaron Ennis for about 55 seconds in his fight with Usima Lima this weekend. That left, for some really strange reason, left a lot of people dissatisfied. I have no idea why, until I was going through Twitter, and there was a boxing writer who went off on Leonard Ellerby, who works with Gervonta Davis, about the PBC being a protection racket for black fighters. And somehow Jaron Ennis got pulled into it, I guess because, hey, man, all black fighters must be with the PBC. Who knows? But before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you guys so much for what you do. It really makes a huge difference to the channel. This particular video, I want to kind of vent a little bit with my problem with being a black boxing fan in the United States. I swear, over my entire lifetime, we have had in the United States, specifically within the black community, the best fighters in the world, hands down. They've been fighting each other for decades, but for centuries, been at the top of the sport for very long time. But somehow, a fighter of that's at the top is always accused of robbing the fans and conning the fans into making them believe that these fighters are as good as is promoted. In this particular instance, it was Gervonta Davis and Jaron Ennis that who fell victim to it. There was a boxing writer that wrote that the PBC was a protection racket for black fighters, and that it's such a shame because Gervonta Davis could have been a real one. Let me tell you, and the same sentiment was shared with me by other people on Twitter that said Jaron Ennis should be ashamed of himself for having a tune-up fight with Usima Lima that lasted one round, and what a shame it was and what a fraud it was that he had tune-ups. Let me assure you that this type of thinking is absolute complete ridiculousness. First and foremost, the PBC being some con artist for black people is ridiculous because a whole lot of fighters, let's first of all talk about how a whole lot of fighters from the PBC are Mexican. How David Benavidez is not a black fighter. No, he is not. Rayo Valenzuela is not a black fighter. Pitbull Cruz is not a black fighter. Manny Pacquiao is not a black fighter. I could go on. Caleb Plant is not a black fighter. I could go on and on with fighters that are not black fighters. Joey Spencer was not a black fighter. They have a lot of non-black fighters with the PBC. It just seems that that's the only thing that people look at because the PBC top fighters are black. But if you wake up, you will realize that the same thing is happening with all of the other promoters as well. Their best fighters are black. However, you do not get them being talked about as if they don't ever fight anybody, even though you can look and say, okay, let's look at Tyson Fury. Do you realize that Tyson Fury, they want to complain about Gervonta Davis fighting Jake Paul, but are perfectly fine with Tyson Fury fighting Francis Ngannou? Francis Ngannou was 0-0 when he fought Tyson Fury for the WBC World Championship. Let me repeat. He was 0-0. Let's talk about Tyson Fury in between his fights with Deontay Wilder. How after he fought Deontay Wilder, he fought Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallen. So you got Tom Schwartz, Otto Wallen, and Francis Ngannou on Tyson Fury's resume for fights that he took when people thought he was the world champion and the lineal champion of the world. No complaints about those particular fights. When you have Anthony Joshua in the UK fighting Francis Ngannou, come on, man. You had him fighting Jermaine Franklin. There's all kind of fighters that these guys have fought that have been pushover fights, easy fights, and they don't get anywhere near the backlash that the PBC or black fighters get. And then don't just think it's just the PBC because it's a black American fighters, because Jaron Ennis gets the same thing. Jaron Ennis isn't allowed to take a tune-up when he moves up into weight. Now, I personally don't like the fact that Usima Lima fight. I didn't like the whole card. But hey, man, that's not the PBC. That's Matchroom that did that. Matchroom put a fight card on with absolutely no competition for anybody. Even in the main event, it was a serious mismatch. But that's not something that doesn't happen a lot. Canelo Alvarez fought Yildirim. That was his sparring partner. He's taken a bunch of easy matches, and nobody turns around and says that Golden Boy is just fleecing Mexican fighters. When Golden Boy, when for sure, or that Matchroom is just fleecing Mexican fighters with the Canelo Alvarez fights that are always some other fight than the one that is wanted by most people, namely the fight with David Benavidez. I just find that this double standard for these fighters is kind of crazy. First of all, Gervonta Davis, I have enjoyed every single solitary one of Gervonta Davis's fights. I have enjoyed every one of Jaron Ennis's fights. You'll be surprised how many fights you'll enjoy when you don't listen to people that are just nagging you about how bad the fights are and just watch the fight themselves and see if you have some enjoyment and get some enjoyment out of it, right? But they don't want to do that. They want to ignore the quality of the fight that Gervonta Davis was in and the entertainment value of the fight itself. And they just want to look at BoxRec and say, oh, I don't like how this guy was matched up with that guy, without really taking any real look at how good the fighters are. Gervonta Davis, almost every one of the guys that Gervonta Davis has fought that people say was not a legitimate fighter he shouldn't have had, went on to win world championships against other people. But hey, man, don't let that logic get in the way of these people hating and trying to ruin your experience in boxing. But look, I am not a big fan of the Gervonta Davis fight with Jake Paul, but I'm going to enjoy it. Was not a big fan of Jaron versus Lima, but hey, man, I watched it. I enjoyed it. And I'm going to continue to do that and try to be a lot more positive about the fights that we actually get and stop using this stuff as a way just to tear down these fighters for our own personal reasons. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.